You know, when you think of Italian culture, your mind probably jumps straight to the Colosseum, maybe some Renaissance masters, but that's all history, right? Well, today we're looking at a totally different story, a story of a remarkable cultural rebirth that's happening right now, and it's being powered by some truly record-breaking numbers, viral new media, and a complete reimagining of what culture is even for. Okay, let's just dive right into this. I know this sounds like a bit of a riddle, but the answer really gets to the core of what we're talking about today. It shows us how Italy's most timeless asset, its culture, isn't just surviving here in the 21st century. No, it's actually finding this powerful new life in some of the most unexpected places you can imagine. So first, let's just look at the hard data, because wow, is it telling a story. In 2024, Italy's state-run cultural sites, we're talking museums, archaeological parks, the whole shebang, they welcomed an all-time record of 60 million visitors. Now, that's not just a comeback, that's a historic high. It's signaling this massive new wave of engagement. And, where the crowds go, the revenue is sure to follow. Those visitors, they generated a staggering 382 million euros. That is a 23% jump in a single year, which just perfectly illustrates the raw economic power that's bubbling up behind this cultural resurgence. Now, here's what's really interesting when you put this in context. This isn't just some simple post-pandemic bounce back. Nope. At 60 million visitors, 2024 has absolutely soared past the previous peak, which was 54 million back in 2019. We're in completely uncharted territory here. And listen, this is not just a story about tourism. Not at all. Italians themselves are reconnecting with their own heritage in a huge way. I mean, just look at these numbers. Household participation is surging right across the board. Culture is absolutely booming from within, and it's being driven by the very people who live there. Okay, so the numbers tell us something big is happening, for sure. But they don't really tell us why. So, the crucial question is this. How exactly is Italian culture managing to forge these new connections that go way beyond just looking at old paintings on a wall? So let's get to our first surprising answer, and I'm gonna bet it's not the one you're expecting. It's TikTok. Seriously, there is this grassroots movement of young creators who are making Italian history go viral under the hashtag #StoriaItaliana. This is literally education for the digital age. These creators are just ditching the dry, dusty textbook approach. They're using quick cuts, trending audio, even AI to bring figures like Dante or Garibaldi to life. It feels authentic, it's often episodic, and it's building this kind of pop archive that makes history feel immediate and super compelling for a whole new generation. Now, from the digital world, let's shift to an even more profound impact. This quote you see here, this isn't just a nice sentiment. It's actually based on scientific research showing that experiencing art can physically affect our brains in really positive ways. It literally lights up the same areas as when you see someone you love. And that very principle, the idea that art can actually heal, is right at the heart of this groundbreaking project in Rome called Arte e Salute, which just translates to art and health. And its mission is so simple, but it's incredibly profound, to bring Italy's artistic treasures directly into hospitals to improve patient well-being. It's all about humanizing what can be a really cold, sterile environment. You've got monitors displaying digital paintings from famous museums, little pop-up exhibitions appearing in common areas, and eventually patients are even taken on guided tours. The goal here is to use art to reduce anxiety and, believe it or not, actually enhance the healing process. And this powerful human connection to art, it's not just confined to hospitals. It is spilling out onto the streets. And nobody embodies this kind of spontaneous creativity more than the busker, the street musician who can turn any old corner into a concert hall. And to give you an idea of the sheer scale of this phenomenon, check this out. The Ferrara Buskers Festival is the biggest of its kind on the entire planet. For days, the whole city just transforms into one giant stage, drawing almost 1 million people to see 1,000 artists from all over the world. It is this massive celebration of accessible, democratic art. So all of this, it leads us to this really fundamental and frankly fascinating question that Italy is now trying to tackle. If the value of culture clearly goes so far beyond just a ticket price, how does a nation even begin to properly account for its greatest asset? Well, starting in 2026, Italy is launching a pretty revolutionary answer. They're shifting away from the old method, historical cost, which is basically, what something costs to build or maintain, to this brand new concept called use value. So, the crucial point here is that this new model measures the entire ripple effect. It counts not just the direct money from tickets, but also the indirect revenue it brings to local hotels and restaurants. And it even tries to quantify those social benefits, things like well being and education. It is a completely holistic view of worth. And if you want to understand just how dramatic this change in accounting is, get this. Under this new use value model, the estimated worth of a single site, just the Borghese Gallery in Rome, could approach 1 billion euros. That is for one gallery. It's just incredible. So we've seen this amazing story unfold, right? Record-breaking numbers, a whole new digital life on social media, art that's actively healing people, and now a government that's fundamentally redefining value itself. It kind of leaves us with this final thought. Maybe the true worth of a culture isn't something you can just count, but something you really have to feel.